Thanks for tuning back into my channel. My name is Jordan Massey. I am a 28-year-old married man on a journey to become a Navy Public Affairs officer. And so today, this video, the purpose is for showing you what resources I'm using, what books I'm reading to get my mind into the right headspace, so that I am ready for the next application date and the next interview. Sorry for the barking dog. And just to be prepared so my portfolio rises to the top. So first of all, the books. My recruiter hooked me up because I asked him, hey, I heard that OCS, Officer Candidate School, there's going to be a test, multiple tests of, this knowledge that you just need to know about the Navy, about ranking structure, about the different rates. And because you're in Navy OCS and you're going to have some Marine Corps drill instructors, you're also going to be tested on your Marine knowledge. What's the Marine HIM? What's the Marine ranking structures and all that. And so I was like, hey, do you have something, all together that there's plenty on the internet, but for me, I like a good booklet. And so he did. He hooked it up with a little pamphlet. I guess it's not a pamphlet, but a booklet called the Naval Officer Delayed Entry Program Guide to Success. I saw that. I was like, perfect. I will study this thing, read it, and be prepared. And it's got a lot. It's got everything from, like I said, the ranking structure. You got the Navy core values, information for the PFA, which is the personal fitness assessment, as well as Navy terminology. What's the Navy HIM? Anchors away. I don't even know the full thing. I gotta learn and go over that. A lot of stuff that if you prepare yourself now for, I've heard it will pay off in dividends, because you're going to be not just, sighting it off in a calm, relaxed space, but you'll most likely be doing exercise while you're asked to regurgitate that information. So, it's a good thing to, have looked at and prepare yourself for. So that's one less thing you need to worry about amongst all the other stuff of the candidate school. So I've been going over that. I also am an educator. I didn't mention that in my last video, but I'm a teacher. And so I do have some off time and off periods where I get to look at some books and prepare myself. So that's the first one. The second one is a book that I took from my wife, with her permission, of course. Thank you, love. This book is called Do More Better. Do More Better. And I'm going to put a link to all these books, but this book is all about a practical guide to productivity by Tim Challies. And his whole thing is, we want to do more, but we want to do more good, right? So it's not like the world says, just keep doing and being busy. Like that's what we ought to be doing. But the purpose is we want to be productive so that we can do the most amount of good for the most amount of people. And I really love that message because I'm not the best with productivity as far as scheduling and all that. And so he breaks it down in a way that reminds me all of this is for a purpose. It's for me to help the most amount of people. So my productivity is linked in with, benefiting others. When I think about it like that, it gives me a little bit more motivation to schedule and put things in the calendar and keep up with things. And I know my wife would really enjoy me saying that. So this book is awesome right here. Do More Better. And the next one, it's called The Warrior Poet Way by John Lovell. My stepdad, Ray Valeros, who is a former Marine, and checked out his YouTube channel and told me, hey, this is a great book just about what a young man, what a Christian, he's a Christian, so it's a Christian perspective, but what a young man should be doing to set himself up to glorify God, to help others, to love people well, but also to be a warrior. I love his idea in here that, being lethal is a part of being a man. Not saying that you're going around and fighting everyone you see, but you're prepared to protect your family, to protect those that you love. And that means that you need some violence about you. You need some, you need some wherewithal, some strength, right? But not just that, because he tempers it with being a poet. And I love that because, I want to be tough like the next guy, but it's not just being a tough guy where no one can talk to you because they're intimidated by you, but people feel welcomed, and you have compassion. Next one. This one was a book that was in my church's library, and the title let me know right away that I need to get this book because I struggle with discipline. It's called Disciplines of a Godly Man by R. Kent Hughes. Same thing here. He gives practical advice, but also reasons why we as men ought to be disciplined. It's not just for discipline's sake, but because God wants us to be disciplined. There's a purpose behind our discipline so that we can, live to glorify God in the best way, the most full way. I got a highlight right here that I wanted to read. It says, many Christian men traffic in delusion. Some who lack integrity do not even know it. So, aside from discipline, he talks about that a strong character is what we should be cultivating in ourselves. A book I just actually picked up recently, I've been consuming this book, and it's awesome because he details his experience at Bud's training as a Navy SEAL, and talks about all the experiences he learned in Bud's training and even before, and how they were proved very useful to him as a leading officer as he was commanding different Navy SEAL groups. And he's going right back to the Bud's training and a lesson that he learned. Like the last one I read was, going in head first. I think he was climbing a rope and he was going feet first or something like that, which was more safe. But the quicker way to do it was to go head first, climbing down the rope, which included a bigger risk, but would include better success. And lastly, I could give you a whole lot, but I want to keep it short. Is this book I picked up again at Barnes & Noble. One thing a public affairs officer does, is I'm learning and picking up, is they write. And they write a lot. Stories, they cover tasks, they cover missions, they interview different leaders, they write speeches for their commanding officers, they give a brief of what is going to be happening for the day. And they write. And although I love to write, a lot of the writing I do is very self-reflective and for fun. I journal. I like to do that. But I do want to get more into writing articles and getting out of that comfort zone, writing about things that are happening. And so I picked this up and wanted to see what was the perspective as a military writer. What's different, right? As opposed to a fiction writer or a nonfiction writer. What is a military writer? One thing I learned from this book is that being short and concise and he lays out different rules, but one rule that really stuck out to me was that being short, concise, and telling exactly what you need to say in the least amount of words possible, which for me is definitely a challenge because I like to talk. So as far as books goes, those are some resources that I wanted to share, some things that I'm reading to prepare myself mentally and to get my mindset right for the interview that I'm going to have to do, as well as just being ready if I do get selected this time around. Well, that is the end of this video. Thanks again for watching. I hope these books are a source of encouragement and guidance for you as you're pursuing your goals. If you have not checked out my last video, I detail and outline what this journey of becoming a Navy officer is going to look like, and what it has looked like for the past year. So check that out and continue to join me. All right, have a good one.